Now, before this video starts, I know what you're gonna say. But Rathalos is already in! That represents the series better than a playable fighter ever could, you idiot! Well, you know what? Yeah, you're totally right. The Monster Hunter series is already represented very well in Smash, as, after all, the monsters are the main part. They come first in the name, after all. Honestly, I'd probably be more excited if multiple monsters were added as bosses/assist trophies as opposed to an actual character. Something like Tigrex, Zinogre, or Gore Magala showing up as bosses would be awesome. Heck, I'd probably be more excited if they did some sort of Monster Hunter Stories crossover where you could play as the Monsties. Is that the name they went with? Jesus Christ. But to play devil's advocate, and to defend this video's existence, I wanted to make a potential moveset for the Hunter. I feel it's more likely, and honestly has a solid chance compared to other Capcom reps. And again, mentioning the Mii costume theory. Oh, okay. Well, even still, I still think it could happen. It's somewhat realistic. Whatever. Capcom does a lot of crossovers, so it's still pretty likely. And despite it not being my first choice, I'd still be really excited for it. I mean, I'm a bit of a fan of the series. God, I hate my life. But let's actually go into the idea of a Monster Hunter character in Smash. To start off, our default costume will be the low/high rank version of the Rathalos armor. The majority of the representation is going to be from 4th gen, as that's what's repped currently, and it's the best one, what? Additionally, we can look at Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite as a basis for the moveset. However, our default will be male, mainly due to the fact that male Rathalos armor is more iconic, and I just like it more, shut up. In MVC, she uses 3 different weapon types, Greatsword, Dual Blades, and Bow. Our version will be similar, but in this case we'll use every Blade Master rep. Also, this version won't have voice acting because that was,
Now let's return to camp.
Not great. If we did have to narrow it down to just a few weapons, however, I think it would be Greatsword for smash attacks, Sword and Shield for jabs and tilts, Glaive for aerials, and Guns for specials. But for the sake of fun, we'll use all of them. For jab, we'll just use the Sword and Shield's basic combo. It'll end in the sort of spin attack that sends them away. Not quite a rapid jab, but it has a launcher at the end. Forward tilt will be dual blades, spinning slightly forward as a multi-hit that deals solid damage, similar to Pit's Fair. Down tilt will be Longsword's Fade Slash. I made this one the down tilt mainly because they actually kind of swing rather low in the animation. It would work similar to the actual game, jumping backwards from the opponent, being used to kind of retreat and reposition. The character would have a very strong emphasis on positioning, as that's a strong emphasis in the game itself. Up tilt can be the Gun Lance shot, a quick shot from the Gun Lance upwards that deals solid damage and knockback. It could potentially have armor simulating the actual shield of the Gun Lance. Forward smash would obviously be Greatsword. This is the easiest one to guess. Charging forward smash could even charge the level of the attack, just like in the game, though you'll never get it off in Smash. Though I imagine the smash attack itself would actually be a bit faster, but weaker than Ike and Ganondorf to simulate the quick draw/slash mentality of the actual game. Down smash will be the hammer spin attack. In a similar way to charging forward smash, you could charge the hammer with the down smash. But the difference being that you would always do the spin, you would just do more or less spins. Possibly you could input another attack afterwards to do the follow-up attack from the actual game. Up smash would be the switch axe. I'm not really sure what fashion the switch axe should be used. I feel like the up smash is the best place for it, as it has a number of attacks that reach upwards, but I'm not sure how the switching aspect could work. Potentially we could just have a strong upward swing of the axe, as that's a prevalent move in the game, but maybe the longer you charge it, it could go from the long-range attack to the stronger short-range sword. It could work either way. Dash attack would be the lance, having armor on the startup of the dash attack using a similar animation to the end of the lance's charge. Maybe you can even reverse it. It would be good if you find an opening that you can kind of stab in for a very strong attack. For neutral air, the glaive. This is the most logical one, as the glaive's buffed animation already looks like a neutral air in Smash Bros. It would swing the weapon around and hit multiple times, kind of like Meta Knights in air, and the glaive is the weapon that spends the most time airborne, so makes sense. Down air would be the Charge Blade. Now, the Charge Blade could be used as a big kind of dunking attack. It could potentially use files that later detonate, but I've got an idea for that later. Back air would be the hunting horn. I kinda couldn't find a place for this one, but back air works just fine. One of the Symphony moves swings it backwards, and this could be a somewhat similar attack, just airborne. We've already used every Blade Master weapon, so we're gonna go with the Kinsect for this one. The Kinsect is kind of classed differently. It's not a whole new weapon, but it's a different object, if you will. It's logical to also give the glaive 2 air attacks, but this would actually utilize the other half of the weapon. The Kinsect should just kind of fly upwards and back, similar to how Adept Glaive's Kinsect were. Forward air would be the Great Sword. I figure if any weapon should get 2 moves, it would be Great Sword, as that's kind of the mascot weapon of the series. It would use a similar animation to the jump attack in-game, being wide in range, though having a lot of landing lag. Though you could potentially input another attack to follow up the landing lag, making it a bit of a mix-up option. For the specials, I'm going with 2 different options, and we'll just kind of go with either one. The first would be having Neutral B be barrel bombs, and that's a little lesson in alliteration. Holding B would craft the bomb with 3 distinct levels. Level 1 being the small barrel bomb, something you can sort of place down very quickly and it will explode after a certain amount of time. Level 2 will be large barrel bomb. This one only blows up if hit with a projectile, but obviously is larger and deals significantly more damage. Level 3 would be the Large Barrel Bomb Plus, which blows up kind of like a firebox, and it's much more sensitive to getting hit, so it would blow up much easier, but be more powerful. Down B would be the Rock Throw, throwing a little rock that could detonate the bomb or hit opponents for slight damage. If you're airborne and you use it, it'll throw it straight down, so you can kind of use it to set up your own bomb. Up B would be utilize the Feline Rocket present in Monster Hunter 4. You grab onto it and it flies in the direction you choose. It'd be similar to Diddy's Rocket Barrel, though covering more distance and have less charge time. Alternatively, the specials could use the guns, as those aren't represented in this hypothetical moveset. Neutral B could just use the Heavy Bow Gunfire, possibly sets you in siege mode. Down B could be Light Bow Gun that sets a mine, similar to in World, or just use Hunter Art. Up B could be, well, bow, just like jumping or something. Maybe bow should just be Neutral B. I've kind of tried to avoid that, but there's not too many characters that just use bow as Neutral B. And plus, the differences could be the different types of shots after you charge it along that. Maybe you could even move while charging it. Up B could also potentially work like Mii Gunner's custom move, firing downwards and shooting you upwards. For Grav, we'll use the hunting knife as a pummel, similar to mounting a monster. For throws, I can't really come up with anything too specific. Maybe your Palicos actually help out, with setting the trampoline for the up throw, shooting them upwards, or a pitfall trap for a burying down smash, because that worked out well last time. The taunts, well, we need the prance animation, that's just a requirement. Other ones that could potentially work is the fist bump and eating a steak. All of which would include the Palico celebrating alongside you, similar to... who the hell is Joker's friend? Similar to Morgana. For the final smash, I say Devil Jeho should jump out and pin the opponent, before going savage and throwing them. Really, it could be any monster. Rathalos seems a bit more likely, but I like Devil Jeho a lot, he cool. For special mechanics, I have 2 possible ideas that basically work on the same core concept. Both involve a meter above your character's icon. The first we'll call Demon Mode, after the Dual Blades ability. Hitting with Longsword, Dual Blades, Kinsect, or Hunting Horn gives you a buff, and after that buff, you move faster and do more damage. This mode is normally only for Dual Blades, but each of these weapons has a mechanic of getting you into a buffed state to be faster and stronger. It'll just all be merged together into one. It's the kind of rule-breaking rather common in Smash Bros. But it still essentially fulfills the same goal that all these weapons do. It'll encourage you to hit with those specific moves, as most of them are some of the faster ones. Additionally, in this buffed mode, Charge Blade's down air attack could have files now. The other method would utilize all weapons charging up the meter, being based on the Valor gauge from Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. It would be similar, but it would be across the board. Additionally, your roll would change to a sort of dash attack. This could work with Demon Mode as well, but the sort of shuffle, or whatever, that is in Valor Mode, is a bit more universal across weapons. Which brings me to my next point. You can cancel the end lag of most moves with a roll. Greatsword end lag is similar to the actual game, where after landing a smash attack, you can roll backwards or forwards, or whichever way. In 4th Gen, you can't actually roll backwards, but this is a 2D plane, so you kinda gotta. I mean, is he just going to roll into the background? I feel like that would be a little broken. Then again, ask Brawl DDD. This would give you the option of being a bit more safe on attacks, however, it would create a lot of situations where reading is a bit more necessary. Like, they shielded your greatsword attack, and you can cancel the end lag by rolling, but they don't know which way you're going to roll, and maybe if they predict that you're going to roll in front of them or behind them or whatever, they may do an attack to actually counter that, but you could just stand there and not do it. Getting the Mind Games version. I hope that with these ideas in mind, Monster Hunter would have a playstyle heavily focused on positioning and commitment, large dedicated actions that force the player to think about what they're going to do to deal with their opponent. The amount of reads are required to play the character, and the movement options would be limited but varied enough to force your opponent to read you. For this stage, I figure Ancestral Step is the most likely. I mean, it's already in the game. I imagine it would work similar to the Castlevania stage, as that's one that has a boss version and a normal version. The backgrounds could be invaded by numerous monsters that may or may not actually affect the game, some of which could include Rajang, Devil Jeho, Rathalos, Yain Kutku, Great Jaggy, Celtis, I don't know, there's a lot of them that show up in that area. There's a few other iconic areas, but Ancestral Step seems to be the main one they'd focus on. The victory animations could be cooking a well-done steak with the "so tasty", doing something cute with the Poogie and the Palicos, and doing the flex at the end with the quest complete stamp over it. The alternate costumes work similar to other Avatar characters. We'll have a number of different alt costumes for both male and female. For the sake of our examples here, we'll use the male Rathalos, female Rathian, male Tigrex, though if they have any taste they'll use the G-Rank version, female Nargacuga, though if they have any taste they'll use the other helmet variant, male Lagiacrys, female Zinogre, male Gore, and female Mizutsune. I did this because it represents 2 of each generation, minus 5th gen because that throws off the whole thing, and they represent the various flagships. This also means that you get a number of the most popular armor sets, as frankly most flagships are some of the more popular ones in general, though that does mean no Ragi armor, and boy, that makes me sad. If they don't want to do so many, they could just have male and female be the Rathalos armors, or Rathalos and Rathian, with various colors, maybe blue, pink, silver, and gold. With the final 2 being the male Gore Magala armor and the female Kirin armor. Both because that's the, fan favorite. And also because Smash likes having a light and dark alts, and those work pretty well in that. Additionally, spirits! Pretty much all these will be HP with a low flinch threshold, at least for all the monsters. Female will be a group of small Isabelle that are focused on using items and use them against you frequently. Midway through the fight, the Rathalos Assist Trophy will spawn. Great Jaggy, Red Yoshi with a group of smaller Red Yoshis that fight you in Gara Plains. Upon their defeat, more of the smaller Yoshis will spawn in their place until the big one is taken out. Yain Kutku, a pink Falco with spicy food and a Kutku item that spawns often. Zamtrios, a giant white King K. Rool on Summit that has a knack for using Nair. Freezies spawn frequently and are drawn to him. Zinogre, giant wolf fought in Garden of Hope, equipped with a screw attack and favors forward smash. At a certain point, he gains an attack and speed increase. Rajang, a Donkey Kong with enhanced punching moves and a massive speed boost. Additionally, the 3 pieces of whatever the beam thing is spawn and are drawn to DK, fought on Summit. Deviljho, a giant Yoshi with a huge attack boost and favors smash attacks. Food constantly spawns and is drawn to him, as well as giving him a power boost if he eats. Fought, well, anywhere, I guess. Kushala Daor, a giant metal Ridley fought on Battlefield Summit where the fight occasionally has a high wind push you. Additionally, he starts with the Gale Wind Tube. Teostra, a giant Incineroar constantly being spicy, fought on the final stage of Castle Siege. After 100 seconds, a series of smart bombs will spawn and are drawn to Incineroar. Valstrax, a giant Ridley with a huge speed boost wearing a jetpack. He favors up B and has it powered up. Fatalis, a giant Charizard on hazardless Unova League with no real gimmick, but the Charizard does insanely high damage and has a lot of health. Potentially, he gains health and defense midway through. As far as musics are concerned, I imagine they would just take most of the monster themes from Generations Ultimate. Maybe Ancestral Step's actual theme, because it's kind of weird that that's not in the game. That technically should be the music that plays when you fight Rathalos, but whatever. You could pretty much just take all the flagship themes and you'd be all set, though, maybe get Al Talka's version of Proof of a Hero, please, that's the best one. And that's our character. Again, I find it's one of the more likely DLC characters, provided that you don't think already being partially represented disqualifies it, and if that's the case, Heihachi is out as well. There's also some data mine stuff that might point to it, with an unused spirit category specifying Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate and Double Cross in Japan. There's some unused rare spirit categories, and Banjo is in, but we don't know if he'll use them yet. But if he does, that could point to this character being included. There's a lot you can do with Rep in the series, even beyond the Hunter being playable. As I said before, I'd probably be more excited if we did something with stories, maybe like a Pokemon trainer type thing, where he sends out different monsters. That's not happening, but I think it would be really cool. If you've got any ideas, I'd love to hear them. Again, there's so much that you could do with this series. So leave a comment. And if you want to see more videos like this, stick around. This seems like a good series to keep going, so I hope to continue it and awkwardly end videos because, frankly, I don't know how to do that. Peace.